Join 93.9 Mike FM on Facebook for live conversations with amazing people during Darren's Humans in Tune videos. Miss the live video? Catch the replay on our Facebook page or listen to the podcast at 939mikefm.com.
And it is indeed that time of day where we're digging in on a Humans in Tune segment here on 93.9 Mike FM's Facebook page. I appreciate you for tuning in live, or maybe you're watching after the fact, but whatever you got going on, I appreciate you being here. My guest today, I'm very proud to have along with me, is Pamela Stone. Pamela is CEO of Vision Made Network. Right off the bat, I want to tell you, you can learn more about her and her business at visionmade.biz. And I put that link in our comments section on the Facebook Live, down there, over there, wherever it is you're looking at it. But we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today. And Pamela, I'm blessed. I'm glad to have you here with me today. We're live via Zoom. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh no, thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah. We were supposed to meet last week, and my fault because I'm a moron and I double scheduled myself. But I'm glad we were able to do it this week, and it's given us some good time for me to kind of dig in more into you and what you've got going on. It is a different world now because of COVID. We know that, and we're not going to get ad nauseum about, COVID-19 and all of that stuff. But a lot of us have seen transitions in our lives because of that. We've changed jobs, maybe just from one job to another, just kind of moving positions. But some people have gotten to a point where maybe they started working from home and they started doing more of a side thing. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I'm ready to do my own business. I'm ready to be an entrepreneur. I'm ready to make a change. I want to, I want to be a tour manager for Led Zeppelin's tribute band, whatever it might be. They're ready to make a transition into something new, but it takes tools to do that. And that's kind of a very vague look at what you do on a day-to-day basis for people. But before we dig in on that too much, let's talk a little bit about you, kind of your background. Let's fill them in on where you're at.
Yeah. So this is amazing. And I'm glad to finally get to come on here. I'm so excited. But right now I still work in corporate world. And I feel that we need to first talk about it because so many people are like, well, you're bringing people on that can't really relate to me because I'm still sitting at the desk and right. I'm making someone else's pockets, but I am too. But, and let me say this, I was one of those people that was thinking, oh, I'm going to just work for the corporate for the rest of my life, until one day that hard wall hit me, and I'm looking around at my team and I'm like, okay, is this all I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? Keying and answering phones for people. And that's for them. No, don't get me wrong. But then I was realizing like, well, there has to be more for me. And so I literally asked my team after I had my little mini meltdown in the office. And I asked my team, I'm like, so what are you guys going to do? When is your guys' plan? And everybody could not answer me. Mm-hmm. So then I go, okay, what if I remove every barrier, lay it on the table, bring people to you? What would you do? And do you know only one person out of 80% of my team are women, and only one person could answer. And so then that's when I was like, hey, okay, the light bulb went on really big. And I thought, okay, I can do this. And so that's where it really started to me, really feeling out what the other side of the world is, the entrepreneur side of it. And I got to really taste it from a mentor of mine who I too had worked for, and she came to me just like someone came to you and said, okay, 3 weeks, I'm letting you go. But she let me go so well that she's like, I'm gonna show you what entrepreneurship, because she does that, and she traveled me with her as her admin. And I got to taste it. Yeah. So I got to taste that side of the world. So then that's really when the entrepreneurship kicked in. I'm like, okay, I think I got it. Right. So that's when it all started right there.
So she kind of gave you your training wheels, and you were ready to pop those wheels off and get the ball turning.
And, she really did.
And you in a leadership role, in that 9 to 5, in that corporate environment, when you ask that question, how did that feel when you as a leader, all of a sudden your team, they're all cloudy. I don't know what they're going to do in 5 years, 10 years. What's that plan? How did that feel, you as the team leader, embracing that?
That scared me. That literally scared me, because then I thought of, okay, we're all now sitting in a box, that someone is controlling that box. And when they let go of that box. And also too, imagine you're sitting in this box and someone says you're let go. And what does a lot of people do? They panic. They looking like, okay, I depended on this job. And let me say this, the longevity on my team was 30 years.
Oh, wow.
We have stayed on the team for 30 years or longer. And to know that if that was the possibility, that right there was another, okay, light bulb came on. Like, I can't give all my power to someone like that.
Right.
So it was scary. It was truly scary.
Mm-hmm. So, you get out into this environment and you've got this mentor that kind of prepares you for that. What was your next steps once you got to that spot?
So once I got to that spot, I really started out in music management.
Okay.
I tested that out a little bit. So let me tell you, I've been in every kind of arena there could be. I did music management for 3 years, where I was managing all genres from rap to jazz to R&B. And and we traveled a lot, and it just was so monotonous and so hard, out here. Plus I'm raising a child and I have a family.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Well, and
So
I was doing a similar thing for years before I moved back from Texas. And yeah, we stopped that. I moved back because my daughter was born. You can't do that life and raise a kiddo. It's tough. Yeah.
And you can't, and it's also a male dominating field.
For sure.
And so a woman coming into that was really, I had to stake my feet in the ground, and I had to just really be bold on it. But as I transitioned from out of there, then I got into event planning. And so I still have that still to this day.
Right on.
And here I started really going back to my team, because my team was really my platform to test things out. So I started talking to them more and more about, let's just sit down. What can motivate you? What are you even thinking about doing? And so when we started talking about it, I even asked my boss, I'm like, let's just ask them, how do they feel they fit into the corporation's mission? And if they don't, and man, after that, the light bulb started. So now we talk about it. Now every day, every week, I'm like, okay, so what is your guys' vision for the week? And how do you see it fitting into? But it was just knowing that you had to change that culture, and you had to talk about it. And that was hard.
Well, I think it was the movie Mo Money, and this is really abstract, but Marlon Wayans said, a job ain't nothing but work. And if that's the way you feel about your employment, then that's not a good, healthy place to be. Because you should be more than a paycheck. There should be some sort of intrinsic reward, that whether it's this job affords me the ability to do volunteer things, because every Saturday we go serve food at Salvation Army together. There needs to be something there to deliver more than just that paycheck.
Yeah. And so when they started seeing the possibilities, everyone's like, okay, I want to do this. So now I have my team comes to me, like I have one lady who's trying to learn how to be a cook. She's very good at it. So now she comes and brings food. Yeah.
I bet that's hard for you to say, I don't know, all this free food. You might want to keep trying. Just
right. And then let me tell you, and one of them, actually we have two. So one of the other ladies, she makes gourmet Belgian waffles. Oh my.
Okay.
Oh. And so, and she was my very first client that I got to really jump into entrepreneurship. And how I jumped, she jumped. She literally quit the job. She calls me. She goes, okay, Pam, I'm not coming in. So now I need you to help me figure this out.
Trial by fire.
That's right. And she jumped. And you know what? To this day, she's making amazing Belgian waffles that are in different flavors.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and more importantly, she's doing what she loves. She's feeling that reward, and she's able to sustain it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So true. Yeah. And I think everybody should do that, because honestly, let's be honest, how many people can say sitting behind a corporate desk or wherever they are, and they're sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could do my what's next. And then knowing that there's the fear that we face. Okay. Of course we're going to face, I call them the 3 F's: fear, fault, and failure. So you're going to face them, but learn how to handle them when they come across your plate. It's so much. And so that's what I teach as well. How are we going to handle it? Because we're going to face it. We're going to face it. It's inevitable.
Sure.
We're going to face it. It's just but don't back down from it. How do we learn from it? How do we build to it? And how we move on from there? It's so important.
I think. Yeah. And you said it. And like you said, the music industry, the tour management industry is very male dominated. And I think it's important for folks to know that, you're working to empower women Because let's face it, it's, I made my transition. We talked about that before we went on air, and I got into a good comfy spot. Probably helped that I was a man in some degrees. It is tougher for women out there, and it is tougher for them to assume that lion position versus the lamb position a lot of times when they're ready to break through that wall.
It is. Oh my goodness. I can remember so many days standing toe to toe to a man saying, I'm not moving. So we're going to figure this out. And we literally stood toe to toe probably for 10 minutes. And he was like, wow, I've never had a woman so determined. And I wasn't stubborn, and I didn't,
Right.
I started talking my facts. I started telling him what I did know. And he was like, okay. And that's when the respect really started flowing in from there, from all the men in that industry. But absolutely.
Well, I think a lot of men assume you just don't know as much as I do, or that guy does. And being able to say, yeah, I do actually. And here's bam, 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 bam. Here's my line. Excuse me, I'm going to walk this way. So,
yes. And they still talk to, funny enough, here I am over 50. And they're like, you don't want to come back? I'm like, I'm good. But at least I made that mark. And at least they know that I know what I know. And at least they know I can do whatever they bring to the table. So that was really a huge accomplishment too.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about Vision Made Network. This is your company. You're busy in this, despite everything else. The Vision Made Network. You've got a magazine, you got the podcast stuff going on. You're busting the chops to get it done around the clock. This is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So in Vision Made Network, like you said, I have a magazine that is done quarterly. Then I have 2 podcasts. Now, the funny thing is, before we talking, I'm like, maybe I could do a third one. And so my husband's like, okay, we'll talk about it. But I do have 2 podcasts. I have a TV show, and I also have a subscription box business. So absolutely. And I love it. I mean, you have to find something you have to love. Let's be honest.
Yes.
I wouldn't be doing this right here if I didn't love it. And
that's right.
Truly love it.
Yeah. We wouldn't, I don't get paid extra for having these conversations. I love having conversations with humans. I love doing it. And that's why I'm glad you're here. And, it's the same kind of deal. You get equipped to do what you love. You've got the right tools to do that. And that's kind of what you're helping, people who want to do that. Like you said, you've got this subscription box business. I have a friend who runs something very similar. That takes a lot of your time. But if you're passionate about it, it's not hard work. It just takes time, right?
Yes. So true. Yeah. So true. And be patient. How many times do you come across one of the 3 F's and you're like, okay, should I throw in a towel? Should I back away? But keep following your purpose and your passion. And that's also, let's be honest, a lot of people don't pay attention to what their purpose is, nor their passion. Yeah. And so people are just, sometimes you see a lot of people that's jumping in. And that I've came across a lot of women like the pandemic made them just jump into something.
Right.
And actually had a woman that had started a t-shirt business. It wasn't good. The quality of the shirts. And I had to pull her back. And I'm like, let's be honest. Do you really like it? And she's like, no, I don't even love it. Okay. So then let's figure out what you love and let's tweak it a little bit and let's move on. So that's what we did.
Yeah. And you want to say that to everybody. Pardon my squeaks. Yeah. You want to say, if it's not fun, if it's not rewarding to you, if it doesn't fulfill your purpose, if it doesn't fill your soul, and if it's just a grind to make money, find a different way to grind and make money that makes you happy. But for some people, everybody's different, right? I'm ready to jump off with or without a parachute and hope I hit the water the right angle.
Me too.
Then,
yeah.
But then there's, and I've got a family, a lot of people that have got kids, and maybe, maybe it's a woman, her husband's out of work, maybe he got laid off during the pandemic. Everybody's not always ready to take that chance, take that risk factor into it. And so how do you kind of encourage getting them over that fear hump? One of those dirty F words we talked about.
So one thing that I've started incorporating is the vision boards. And so the vision boards, actually, I teach all my clients and customers and everybody, the vision board is, let's use it as something fun. Create a motivating vision board that'll motivate you, that'll hold you accountable to your goal, but you have it sitting there and you have it placed around everywhere and have it so powerful that when you look at it, you're like, okay, I got this. And whatever it is, use that and use it to your advantage. Put it in your car. Tell your friends about it. And I think that's really the myth of people are like, well, vision boards, they don't work. They do. I have 5 of them,
Right.
and three on my phone and 5 in real, but they do work. But you have to be realistic.
Hmm.
And secondly, you also have to share it. Don't let it sit in the corner gathering dust up. And so I
Build
teach.
that accountability, right?
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Because we all can't afford a coach, right? So why not get your tribe together, get the board together, share it with everybody, and let's just work on help each
Hmm.
other, empower each other to go after their what's next.
And it's the same way we would do when we commit to really anything. If it's my faith, I'm feeling like I'm lacking in my faith. I haven't been to church. I'm that Easter Christmas guy. All of a sudden, I got to get back in church. You have
Yes,
been going to church. You're my friend. You love me. Keep me accountable. Hold me to that commitment to do those things to
right.
get me where I want to be. And the same thing applies, in your day to day.
Absolutely,
If it's a weight loss
absolutely.
program, right? You want a diet buddy that'll say, "Hey, man, I saw you snacking on a chicken waffle biscuit the other day at Rose. You got to back off of that, man. I'm sorry, you're
Right.
right." But they keep you on that path, on that focus to do it. Um,
So true.
and now, as far as vision boards go and making that happen for yourself, I know that's something that you teach throughout, through your advisement and what you're doing on the day to day.
Yeah. So the vision board, actually I have created 2 kits. And the kits, there's everything in there. So the first one is just taking the board and let's set a 30-day goal. May the
Hmm.
goal be, like you said, just getting focused or getting organized, and just put pictures on there, put words on there, put what your goal is going to be. And so that kit, and in that kit is everything. I mean, down to the scissors, to the glue, because when I don't know if you've ever done a vision board, but some point in time we're looking
Yep.
for scissors, glue, pen,
And
and
that's
the
the
magazine.
easiest excuse in the world is, "Oh, I'll get back to this later, man. I can't find my scissors."
That's
Nope.
right.
No excuses here. None.
No,
She's got you covered. Yeah.
I got you covered. So in that kit, you have everything. And then in the bigger kit, it's still everything in there, but I also created videos, and where you need that accountability. May
Hmm.
it be that you're having that hit that wall, you need some inspiration. So I have both of them to catch everybody, because everyone's at a different phase in their
Right.
lives, but to make sure that they can do it. But yeah, to remove all excuses, all barriers, the box and the one goal in the bag does it.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about your podcast stuff. You mentioned you got 2 going right now. A lot of good conversations having over there. I think you're on the backside of 100 episodes of one of them there. So,
Yeah.
cranking them out faster than I am, I think. You got me beat. But let's talk a little bit about what your conversations are over there, what people can expect if they come and listen to your podcast.
Sure. So the first podcast I have is Envision Me podcast. It is a woman empowerment podcast, which you can hear live on Facebook and YouTube every
Nice.
Wednesday at 8:30. And there I bring on women that are out here rocking their what's next. Knowing that, okay, we've faced obstacles, but you can hear their obstacles that they face, and they're still out here doing it. So we do that, like I said, every Wednesday. And then on Tuesdays, I actually have a vision board show. Of course, I love vision boards,
Yeah.
so that was inevitable,
Yeah.
right? That was
Right.
inevitable. So what the vision board show actually is just me. And I come on and I bring the vision board on, and we talk about the different parts of the vision board. We also talk about the obstacles that we face. Last week, I talked about the 10 organizing ways to get you to your what's next, would allow you to work on your vision board. So and it's just really fun. And I always invite, in both podcasts, I'm always inviting the guests to bring their favorite evening beverage, even though mine is normally gone by that time, and my evening snack.
Yeah.
I'm always telling, I know I tell you guys to bring your evening beverage. I'm sorry, but mine is already gone
Yeah.
by that time. But
You're on to the evening beverage,
exactly,
the
exactly, exactly.
nightcap, if you will. Yeah.
Exactly,
There you go.
exactly.
So let's say somebody, and if they catch this on live, obviously they can engage with you and your guest at that point. After the fact, somebody listening to us today says, "Well, I want to go check one of those out," and they start going and binging your podcast. What is the best way for them to reach out to you if they've got questions or if they want to follow up after they've, experienced that?
So the best way they can do is actually just send me an email and send it to me at whats, WHATS, next, NEXT, podcast, and then the number 4 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And actually, I get it. Gets right to me.
What's next? podcast4@gmail.com. Booyah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. That is a great way, because I want people to, whether you guys are watching this live on Facebook now, or if it's later in the afternoon, you're doing your business and that's when your time is. Whenever you take time to be able to watch these and engage, I think it's important that, if you've got questions, to reach out after the fact. And of course, you can reach through me if you've forgotten what that email was, or, hit the rewind button. It's the magical of the digital universe, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then, of course, a magazine. I've never made a magazine. I can imagine now I've done desktop publishing and graphic design, all that fun stuff, but I have never had to put one together and actually come up with enough content to publish a second magazine and a third magazine. That's a lot of work too. What's your process there? What's your goal with the magazine?
So my goal with the magazine is, some people are like, well, I don't even know how to get, or not in tune or in touch with the podcast industry. So the magazine helps picks that up.
Yeah.
The magazine, again, it's all about vision boards. So you'll find in there, I'm really big on power words. So you'll find some power words, and then you'll find how to put a vision board together. I'll give you like a one-sheeter, how to do it. And then we go into the stories. One of the segment of the magazine is mental health in the boardroom. And of course, because I still work in corporate, it was so needed to be talked about the mental health and talked about that.
It's almost like mental health in a traffic jam sometimes.
Oh my goodness. And so actually, I actually have a new writer who's created like a Dear John kind of type. So where writers can talk about their mental health, and they can write in and we can talk about it that way as well. Yeah. And then we also have, I always believe in healthy mind, healthy living. So then we also have, we have chefs coming in, giving recipes. We have health experts talking about, how we can get moving, especially COVID. A lot of us are at home.
Yeah.
Right. And then we go into maybe the travel. I want people to know we can still travel and how to do it on a budget. Mm-hmm. So that's how the Vision Board magazine works, and it's done on a quarterly basis.
Okay. That's excellent. Man, you have got so much on your plate, and I think it's amazing that you are able to keep a balance, remain productive, and continue to just spread that love everywhere else and help other people do what they do. That makes for a great human, and I just love the fact that that's what you're doing. And I encourage everybody again to go check out your website. We've got it hot linked in the chat on the Facebook Live. But if you're listening to the podcast, it is visionmade.biz. Hit the website. That is your great way to connect with her, and your social media links are on there as well. The podcast, you can listen directly on the website. You can check out the magazine as well. A lot of great stuff going on there.
Thank you. Yeah, this was fun.
I appreciate it. Yeah, my guest today has been Pamela Stone. Pamela, I greatly appreciate you being with us. Make sure you check out Vision Made, and you're helping make wonderful humans do things that they probably thought was impossible a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now you're empowering them, women, men, everybody, to make it happen. Find your what's next.
That's right.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. It's been another Humans in Tune segment. Thanks again to Pamela Stone for joining me today. We will see you on our next Humans in Tune right here on 93.9 Mike FM. Appreciate you tuning in.
Join 93.9 Mike FM on Facebook for live conversations with amazing people during Darren's Humans in Tune videos. Miss the live video? Catch the replay on our Facebook page or listen to the podcast at 939mikefm.com.